Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ask Mister Your podcast. In today's episode, we are discussing the four types of toxic communication styles. This is week number three. Yes, and this week we're going to discuss defensiveness. So if you missed week one and week two, you can hop over to my podcast and check them out. So defensiveness is when you defend yourself or make excuses about your behavior to avoid responsibility. And it is you trying to make the other person feel like it's not your fault, it's theirs. It's like manipulation. I'm defensive. Hey, I know I left the door unlocked last night, but nobody broke in. This is the way that they use to protect themselves and to say that the problem is not me, the problem is you. I know I left the door unlocked, but you was the last one to come in. I know you say the husband's supposed to make sure all the doors locked before you go to sleep, but you was actually the last one that came in the door, so technically you left it unlocked. Technically it's your fault. Defensiveness is usually a response to criticism. So we said in week one that criticism was when you attack your spouse's character or personality traits when you really want to address a change in their behavior. That's criticism. So most of the time when you're criticizing someone, their response is going to be defensiveness. You're lazy. I'm defending myself and saying, no, I'm not lazy. You lazy. And back and forth and back and forth defensiveness. I'm not the problem, you are. I'm not the problem, you are. Back and forth. Defensiveness is toxic in that instead of defending yourself and making excuses to avoid your part in the situation, instead of not listening and thinking of how you're going to clap back at what your spouse just said, the correct response to being defensive is to being open and to listening. And so instead of me being defensive with my spouse, a correct response would be to say, so I hear you saying that. So I'm hearing this. Is this what you're saying? Instead of me ready to clap back as soon as he stopped talking. Because all I heard was, it's your fault the door was unlocked. Clap, and I'm ready to clap back. Why I said you supposed to love me, but Christ said, do Jesus ever come at church and tell the church? Think, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't take all of that. It don't take all of that. Let me give you another example of defensiveness. Let's say I I would come home one day and I say, I'm tired. I'm tired today and I'm not cooking. I'm just not cooking. Bobby is like, I'm hungry. What's for dinner? I'm tired and I'm not cooking. Are you cooking? He's like, no, I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking either. Oh, well, eat some cereal, call it a night. I'm getting defensive. I'm tired and I'm not cooking. He didn't take all that. A better response would have been, I'm sorry that I didn't cook for you last night. I was exhausted. So tell me what you have in mind to eat tonight. And a compromise would be maybe you don't cook, maybe you stop and pick up something. You know, if the budget allows it, maybe you order in, maybe you make a sandwich. But what you don't give the person back is attitude, and you do not act like it's their fault for bringing it up. Like, you don't make the person feel bad for bringing up something. And if you have a responsibility, if it's something that you didn't do, if you're negligent to have done something you should have, then just own up to that responsibility. That's what adults do. Bobby say, hey, I'm supposed to make sure our door's locked before I go to sleep, even though you're the last one in the house. That's on me. And so from here on out, before I go to sleep, I'm going to make sure all the doors locked and make sure all the cars locked. That's on me. I'm head of the house. I take responsibility for that. Cool. Instead of blaming it on me, he'll take responsibility for it because he felt like that was something he should do. Does that make sense? So a solution, how do you keep from being defensive? Part of how you solve this problem of defensiveness is that you respond instead of reacting. I think a lot of times when we get defensive, it's because we hear a trigger word and then we're all of a sudden ready to clap back and we're not really listening because maybe our spouse isn't saying it right, but they're saying it the best way they know how to say it. Ask them, so this is what I heard. Tell me, is this what you were trying to say? Are you saying that it's my fault the door was unlocked? It is. Yolanda was the last one in that door. Yolanda should have made sure the door was locked. It's not, even though Bobby's head of the house, even though he should have went behind me to check, from now on he will, from now on he will. From now on he will. But I have to accept my responsibility in the situation and not attack him for bringing it up. Does that make sense? Also, it's good to look at things from your partner's point of view. Put yourself in their shoes. What if I left the door unlocked and it was unlocked all night? What if, teaching purposes only, someone broke in and stole all our goodies? What if? That's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate concern. How he approaches me is important. How he says it is important, but clapping back, that's toxic. Listening for understanding is the correct way to respond to someone who is giving you feedback, who may be legitimately giving a complaint. Don't automatically assume that every complaint is undercover criticism. It's all about how it's delivered. Admitting that you made a mistake instead of saying it's your fault. Well, deep down it was on you. Don't be defensive. Don't shift the blame. Take responsibility when you are in the wrong. Say you're sorry. Do what you can to fix it. Listen. Don't respond quickly. Listen to what they're saying. Try not to react, but respond and look at things from their point of view. If you do those things, it will help you be less defensive and it will help your spouse avoid feeling hurt, and it will increase your communication with your spouse. That's my best shot. I hope it helped you. Until next time, go in God.